What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And the movie I want to take a look at right now is Who We Are, a Chronicle of Racism in America. Now, this one comes from Sony Pictures Classics, and it hits theaters this Friday, February 4th, if you choose to see it, regardless of what I'm about to say. This is a documentary, and it is interweaving lecture, personal anecdotes, interviews, and shocking revelations. Lawyer Jeffery Robinson draws a stark timeline of anti-black racism in the United States from slavery to modern myth of a post-racial America. So, going into this, I didn't know what to expect, but one of my favorite genres of film, and it always will be, I will always watch whatever's thrown my way if it's a documentary. I love documentaries. I love just learning stuff. I love picking up on stuff that maybe I didn't learn in history growing up in school, or if it's focusing on a person, like knowing a little bit more about their life and just kind of really be invested in the subject matter or the person that they're following. I just love it. I love just documentaries and different styles that are done with them. I love it. So with this one, I didn't watch a trailer for it. I just kind of went into it blind, and after watching it, I kind of liked it. I like the kind of mix of this TED Talk of Jeffery Robinson. He's giving like this really compelling and just insightful and emotional talk about racism in America, and like what his personal experience was, and all just everything. Hearing him speak, like you were just glued to the screen, and you just really felt like you were lingering on every single word that he was saying. I loved all those bits. So it was mixed with a TED Talk, but also him going out on the streets and like just kind of interviewing people. One was a person that didn't think that the Civil War was caused by slavery, so that was an interesting conversation. And then he would also go to people that knew a lot about history in specific places in America that had some really just deep-rooted racial problems with white people against black people. And that was enlightening, because I had no idea that some of that stuff even happened. Case in point, there was an interview with someone that was talking about like a flea market in New York, where they would straight up just like sell time slots for people to be slaves. I'm it's not the exact wording, but it was something to that effect, and I was like, that's insane. It's just out in the open, just like, so that's wild to me that like some of that stuff actually like happened, and you're also just horrified knowing that that stuff only happened like less than a few hundred years ago. Like, this isn't like something that happened thousands and thousands of years ago. It's like, no, this is like still fresh in our history in terms of like people living today. And so that was really just mind-blowing to witness. And then so he mixes the TED Talk, goes into interviews with people on the street, and also a little bit more of a backstory of how he grew up and just kind of like his POV of racism in America from his household and his siblings and his parents. So it was an interesting mix. I don't think I've ever seen a documentary like this before, where it kind of mixes those specific components together to make a film. I can see a lot of people looking at this documentary and thinking it's just a lecture interjected with interviews, and it just it's nothing more than just like a classroom lesson. I can see that argument, but for me, I just really found it to be really insightful, informational, and just a very bleak and confrontational look at ourselves, this country, and just holding up this giant mirror while you're watching it. Like, he's basically just doing that, just holding up a mirror going, hey, listen, I like this country, but also, like, do you not know the very dark history that it has in its soil? And so holding that kind of like that reflection up to us really makes you empathetic towards everything that's going on. You're like, wow, like there's some stuff that I didn't even know about now I feel even more disgusted at some of the past that this country has. And so for me personally, I learned a lot, and I liked Jeffery Robinson as a speaker. He's very engaging. He knows how to work an audience, and he also just knows how to weave the audience through a story, and he knows how to take you on a journey, which is really impressive. So I didn't think of it as just like a glorified lecture movie. I thought of it as just a really good documentary, very eye-opening documentary that is enlightening, horrifying, and I would say even hopeful. I think when you watch stuff like this, it gives you the opportunity to try to make a difference, and maybe have other people learn something from this, and maybe we can move forward from this, and maybe we can move forward as a country in more of a positive light, and change certain things that are institutions in this country that are just not good. And so that's another thing. It just brings awareness to everything, and things that are still going on. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. The interview shots, just from a filmmaking perspective, they're not really anything too crazy. Very just run and gun, on the move type of cinematography. They're filming them on the streets and everything. So it's very handheld, really nothing crazy. Because usually in documentaries, like the interview shot is like the prettiest shot of the entire thing, because that gives you more of a controlled environment. You can like set up your lights and your background, and like what do you want in the background. They look nice for the most part. But for this one, it didn't need to. This is more of an informational based documentary, so that's where I was more focused on, which is something I wanted to bring up. And that's about it. There's really nothing else more to discuss. Yeah, usually documentaries are kind of hard to talk about. There's just not a lot to it, but I think I tried to explain it as much as I could in terms of why I liked it, and like just what it's about, and like how it's constructed and everything. So hopefully you enjoyed that. So yeah, so that will do it for this review. I'm Chase Lee. Let me know down below what you thought of this, if this is something that you're interested in, if you like documentaries. I expect to see a lot of trolls on this review. It is what it is, so I'm curious to read the responses. So yeah, so that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.